how do we answer the questions for parents before they have them or before we know what they are? And I think that's what Truth Tree partners do really well. Is Jason Smith, I'm currently the head of school at International School of Arizona. Prior to this, I have kind of a varied background. So in the school in the Midwest that I was, they were actually going through the process of trying to increase student enrollment, and kind of did a search for a group that could really help with that, and they landed on Truth Tree. So I worked closely with the person that was in charge of kind of the marketing efforts and communications efforts, and became acquainted with Truth Tree at that time. And then when I moved to International School of Arizona, they had a local marketing agency firm that they were working with that really wasn't specific to independent schools, didn't understand the market, just kind of knew what they thought was best practice when it came to marketing in general. And what we do know is that marketing for independent schools is very different than just marketing for a company or an attorney or something like that. So, I quickly and decisively went in a different direction and reached out to Truth Tree and said we want to partner with Truth Tree because we know that parents now are finding schools in a different way than they used to. And so when I came to ISA, predominantly the vast majority of all of our referrals were from word of mouth. So family would show up, we're like, how did you hear about us? And I was like, oh, I know this family or this person mentioned. And the parents now, they just don't necessarily always work that way. They like to do their own research. They like it in the palm of their hand. They like to be quick with that. So again, I made the quick decision to move to Truth Tree because I knew the experience and the success that we had in my previous school with Truth Tree, and wanted that same success for my new school.
Can you talk about the partnership between our teams?
Yeah, I think obviously what I love about Truth Tree is that most of the partners, everyone has independent school experience, comes from the admissions marketing circle and gets it. And there aren't very marketing agencies that really get that space, and you have to get that space in order to be really successful in that space. And so what I appreciate most is that I don't have to do a lot of background context setting because people get the context, but every independent school is different, obviously, so there is a bit of that. And so like my school, for example, is bilingual immersion. We have French accreditation, we have Spanish accreditation, we have US-based accreditation. And so we are a bit of a niche school. And so there is that part to it, but knowing how parents are looking and knowing what parents are looking for, I feel like the partners within Truth Tree really get that and really set us up for success. And so when we're designing a Google ad, for example, or designing a Facebook ad, the questions that they ask to really pinpoint what we're looking for and what we're trying to target and the message that we're trying to articulate to a prospective family, we really land there quickly. And then when we're developing landing pages for Google Ads, really pinpointing specifically what parents are looking for, what is it, how do we answer the questions for parents before they have them or before we know what they are? And I think that's what Truth Tree partners do really well, is they help us decide on that so that the decision when it comes to scheduling that tour or applying for admissions, the questions are already answered. And I think that's what Truth Tree does differently than other organizations, is that they help us land in a space that makes a decision easy for families.
Can you describe the ways that Truth Tree has supported you in your role?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is problem solving. Our enrollment as a school has increased like nearly by 60% in 3 years. So I've shared, a bit of this before with you all, but we went from essentially a net tuition revenue of 3 million, and in 3 years we've doubled it to over 6 million, which is a huge in huge part to our partnership with Truth Tree. Truth Tree helps us identify the problem, and then we go to Truth Tree and we say, here's our problem. How do we get there? And it's not too distinct from what I was talking about earlier, in the fact that problem solving is what Truth Tree really does for us, to say, we have this really small middle school. We're trying to expand our middle school, but obviously we can't admit kids without a certain level of Spanish or French. What do you think we can do to kind of increase that middle school so we can really provide additional social opportunities for kids and that sort of thing? And Truth Tree will say, well, have you thought of this? Have you thought of this? Can we try this? Is this possible? Does this line with your strategic vision, your strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years. And so that's what I think they do. And then not just like strategizing, but once we land on a strategy, operationalizing that through digital marketing.
Thank you so much. And I just have one more question. If a school on the other end of the country was considering working with Truth Tree, what would you tell their team?
Quit looking and jump at it and sign up. Because firsthand, obviously, I have the experience and I've seen what that partnership can do. And I think always important to remember that the more vulnerable you are as a head of school, the more vulnerable you are as a leadership team working with Truth Tree, the better. Because if we're trying to move your school forward, to grow enrollment, to do the things that are really going to set your school up for success and for long-term success, really just being open and honest and trusting the process with Truth Tree. They do know what they're doing. And if you really encapsulate for them what the challenges are that you're experiencing and what you hope to accomplish, that they'll ask the right questions and set you up for success and a path forward to get there.